Okay, we're going to look at the system in action and follow it through with a potential trade. This is the trading desktop as it was set up with the instructions on our website. It is now about 12:30 in a trading day. This is actually October 1st. As we started the video, there have already been throughout the day a number of trade signals that have been generated, but what I'm going to do is reset this alert section to clear it out so that we can see the new signals pop up as they are generated by the system. Again, reviewing some matters that we discussed in an earlier video. This right here is what we call the decision tree. We have two branches, the left side, which tells us the very short-term trend in the market, and the right side, which tells us what the longer-term trend in the market is. Right now, the market is heading down significantly, as you notice by the red colors. The decision trees are broken out by colors. The downtrend is signified by yellow, meaning a light downtrend, a light red, meaning a more significant downtrend, a darker red, meaning an even more significant downtrend, and then there's a very bright red that you may see pop up on the screen, which shows a significant downtrend. Basically, the bolder the color, the more likely it is that the market is going to move in that direction. On the positive side, in other words, the market going up, we have orange as being a very moderate light trend. We have a light green, a dark green, and a very bright green. Again, the higher density or the higher the color effect of the green, the more likely it is that the market is going to move in that direction. So if you see a bright green color, it's very likely that the market is going to move up in the very near future. If we're going long, we basically want to see predominantly green charts in both predominantly green colors in all the decision trees. If we're going short, we want to see predominantly red colors. Okay, here you see we got an alert for Expedia EXPE. The alert tells us that it's short, so the first thing we do is look at our decision trees, and they are predominantly indicating that the market trend is down. Typically, we'll review the right side, the left side of the decision tree first, and see if there is in fact a downtrend on the short term. And here we see a bright red decision tree and two yellows, indicating that in general, in the short term, the downtrend on the market is only going to be moderate. We typically want to see 2 to 3 red boxes to confirm a downtrend, or 2 to 3 green boxes to confirm an uptrend. When we see here is basically one box indicating a downtrend and two other ones indicating basically minimal movement anticipated in the market, yellow. If there is movement, it's going to be to the downside. Now they've switched to a darker or a light red, indicating again that there's a greater probability that you will see a downturn in the market. Now we also look at the right side, the longer term trend. The longer term trend also shows a slight downturn in the market. We have one box still indicating a slight uptrend, but the other two boxes indicating a downtrend. Again, if between the two portions of the decision tree we see 4 to 5 boxes indicating a color in our direction, then generally the trade is going to be valid as long as the one box that's not in our direction is not a bright color in the opposite direction. Now, we saw that the alert came as we looked over to our trade evaluation chart. You would have also seen the down arrow being generated in showing you graphically that there is a short trade available here. The other issue we look for in terms of deciding whether or not to enter a trade is what we call, where is our resistance points? Where is it likely that the stock is going to hit resistance moving in the potential direction of the trade? To do that, we look at places on the chart where there's been horizontal movement over time period or a reversal. Here, if we look at the trade evaluation chart, we see that in this area right here, there's been a large horizontal movement of the stock indicated by the horizontal closing line. And what that represents graphically is that during this time period, this almost hour time period, the stock bounced up and down within this range. So if you are trading into that range, you can anticipate that there's going to be a lot of resistance. Also, we note that there is a reversal point here at 59.32. And what that tells us is that when the stock hit that point before on a downtrend, it reversed and went up. So what we want in general is for our resistance and reversal trends to be at least 10 cents away from our entry points. So here we have a resistance level at the 36 to 48 area, the 85.36 to 85.48 area, and a reversal trend at 85.33. Our entry point would have been 85.61. So the reversal point is more than 10 cents away, and the area of resistance that we see here is also more than 10 cents away. So this could be a valid trade. Now, I'm not going to enter this trade because when I enter short trades, I want all the decision trees to be in my favor, unequivocally in my favor, and they are not here. As you can see, we have one of the decision trees still showing that there's a potential upturn in the market at some point in time in the near future. The other four trees, the other five trees now show a strong downtrend, which would be good for a trade. So let's just watch this pan out and see what happens here. It would not be a trade that I would enter simply because I do not like to see any type of opposite tree in the decision tree branches when I'm trading short. I'll take more risk when I'm trading long, but not when I'm trading short. Also, I would point out that we are now trading during what I call lunchtime, which is basically 12 to 2, and the market tends to be much less liquid and as a result much more choppy. So entering into trades during this time period is never recommended. But if you do trade through that time period, you have to be sure everything is perfectly lined up for your trade. Now, if we did enter this trade, our entry would have been right around 85.61. Our stop loss would be 10 to 15 cents above that at 85.75. Now, the decision tree is all red all around. So let's watch and see how the price movement of the stock is affected by that. Hopefully, we should see it start moving down at a fairly nice pace now that all the decision trees have moved into our favor. Watch and you can see the decision trees move into a very bright red area, which indicates even a further stronger downtrend. Now, typically, you're looking at a 1 to 3 minute lag between when the stock reacts to what you see on the decision trees and when the events occur on the decision tree. So it could be that the stock will start moving down some point here in the next minute or two in reaction to what has just happened on the decision trees. Let's just watch. I'll come back on in a couple minutes and we'll see where the stock is. All right, coming back on, you see the stock has dropped. Now it's down to 52, which would be already close to 10 cents below our entry point of 61. So we are already at a profit of close to $100 on the short trade. We trade in 1,000 share lots. Now we're getting some rebound back up. Notice how the chart, the decision tree, has turned from a bright red to a yellow, indicating that there's some movement in the more positive side with the market, but we'll stick with this trade. Our goal would be 10 to 15 cents. It's possible you could have already gotten out with a 10 cent profit, but as long as the decision trees stay predominantly red, I'm going to stick with this trade and we'll see where it goes. I'm going to come back on in a couple seconds. Keep in mind also that you have natural resistance points at all the quarter, half, and whole dollar numbers. So as it approaches down to the 85.50 area, you're going to have some natural resistance there, and there it just hit 89.50. The bid is 89.52. The bid is 85.49. The ask is 85.52. Now, if you're short, you're going to have to close your trade at the ask price, and we consider that or look at that when we're determining that we wanted a 7 to 15 cent profit range on any trade. That is net of whatever slippage may occur and whatever movement you may have in the stock in terms of having to buy a bid or ask. So here the trade would have been a sell at the bid, and we would close it at the ask. Just looking at the time and sales, the close when we got the signal on the chart was at 85.61, so we would have been in at 85.61. The charts, the decision trees continue to be red. Now the ask is at 85.50, so we could get out at 85.50. The ask now is 85.49. Let me check the quantity on the ask is at 500, so our 1,000 share lot probably would have closed easily. We're still sticking with this trade on a short-term basis because the decision trees are all very dark red. Now the ask is 85.48, so you're up to $130 profit on the trade. We're going to stick with it because the decision trees are still bright red. Sticking with it, sticking with it. All right, I'd probably close out here at this point simply because there's been no further movement down in the stock, and also because we're trading during lunchtime. And as I said, there's a lot less liquidity during this 2-hour period between 12 and 2 Eastern time. As you can see, we've moved back up to 50, but I probably would have been out of that at 50 anyway on its way down to 50 for a $100 to $120 trade. Now the ask is back down to 85.49. Now the important thing that you should take from this lesson is, did you see how the price movement reacted once the decision trees all turned red? The price movement down occurred within a couple minutes of that happening, and that's the lead time you get from the decision tree, which makes it a valuable tool. Now the ask is down at 85.46, so if you had stayed with it, you'd be almost at $150 right now in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 minutes. That is not bad. Now it's 85.42. You would have been at $200 had you stayed in the trade.